Inner Peace, Better Health. I'm your host, Shreya. Today, we are diving into a topic we all secretly wrestle with: how to stop making life harder than it needs to be. Joining us is Dr. Angelo Valenti, a consulting psychologist, leadership coach, and author of You Are Making This Way Too Hard. Get ready to explore the beautiful simplicity of joy, self acceptance, and learning how to love yourself exactly as you are. Welcome, Angelo. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And Angelo, your book title alone feels like gentle nudge. You are making this way too hard. Why do you think so many of us complicate life even when we are striving for happiness?
Well, I think there are a lot of reasons why people make things too hard. One of the big reasons I think is our societies all over the world, mostly through social media, are pushing us to compare ourselves to other people. And when you compare yourself to other people, that is a recipe for disaster. There's an old saying, comparison is the thief of joy. But we kind of are pushed in that direction, and many of us fall into that trap if we're not as pretty or as successful or as rich or have all the things that the outside world considers to be success. Then we feel bad about ourselves when really most of what you see is an illusion anyway. It's not real. What people put on social media is not real. It's what they want you to see. So I think comparison is one of the main reasons people make things too hard. I think another reason is we have uh, a lot of us have given up control of our life to other people
Yes.
or other outside forces. And one of the best ways to be happy in life is take control back, take control of your life.
Yes, that's so true. That unless we ourselves doesn't make happy, I think it is impossible for somebody else to make us happy. So we are the reason that can make us happy. That's so true. And you work with leaders who often feel immense pressure to perform. How does
Right.
perfectionism or high achievement actually block self love and joy?
Well, if you're under constant pressure to achieve, you develop that internal voice in your head that said this is never good enough. You know, we always have to do more, 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 more,
Mhm.
and that's really uh, it's impossible to achieve the kind of results you want to achieve if you never celebrate your wins. And some people get so caught up in the trying to do more, trying to do better, that they don't realize you need to sit back and celebrate when something good happens. And if you're constantly striving for more, you never get a chance to take a break and relax and say, I did good today. And just leave it at that.
Yes, I think high achievers are often praised or pushing through, but very push can become the wall between the joy. That's so true. And can I share a story where someone finally made peace with being enough?
Well, there are, I'll give you an example of somebody I was
Mm.
coaching about a year ago. Um, he was successful in his job by all external measures of success, but he came to me for coaching because he felt unfulfilled. He didn't feel like he was enjoying what he should be enjoying based on the level of success that the external outside world was saying he'd achieved. So we worked through uh, a couple of the issues that were blocking him, to the point where he decided he was going to find change careers, find something that was more fulfilling to him. He was going to go back to graduate school and get his master's degree in business, which he'd been talking about for years, but had never done because he was on that treadmill. I got to work. If I want to be more successful, I got to work harder, work longer hours. And when he finally got to the point where he realized what he was sacrificing time away from his family, time away from his friends, time away from taking care of himself with his hobbies, his recreational activities, things that were really giving him joy. He wasn't doing any of the things that were giving him joy. He was doing things to try to hit that external bar of success, achievement, title. And a year later, we're still in contact with one another. And what he's doing now is so much more fulfilling to him. He sends me a little thank you note every once in a while, which I really appreciate. I don't need it, but I appreciate it. Uh, so that's an example.
Yes, and it's so needed sometimes because we often just lose our paths, and we need someone to show us the right path, and you did exactly to that person, and you do that job. So thank you to you. And you say that people are capable of dramatic change when they have the right guide. What do you believe is the first mindset shift that allows someone finally embrace that change?
Well, the first thing they have to do is to accept the fact that they're capable of change, to realize that they don't have to be stuck in the situation that they're in. People always have more choices than they think they do. When you hear somebody say, I didn't have any choice, in most cases, that's not true. You know, if somebody's holding a gun to your head and says, give me all your money or I'll shoot you, and you really don't have much choice other than give them the money. But most situations aren't like that. In most situations, you have way more options than you think you do. The problem is in your mind, those options are unpleasant or they're difficult, or you're not sure that that those choices are going to get you where you want to go. Well, often the choice that's the scariest is the one that leads to the most growth. So you have to be willing to take that leap. And unless you're willing to take that leap, you're not going to achieve the kind of changes you want. And sometimes the changes that you want to achieve are not the changes that other people want you to achieve. And that's the other thing people have to realize. You got to make these changes for you, not for anybody else.
Yes, and real change doesn't start with that hustle. It starts with that belief that, yes, I can do this. That belief is so important. And what does self compassion play in that shift?
Well, you got to often we're high achieving people, especially, but many people are self critical. They never think they're good enough, big enough, fast enough, rich enough, pretty enough, whatever you want to be. So what you really have to do is start to focus on all of the good qualities that you have. We all have many good qualities. With some people, maybe you have the capacity to just make people laugh. Maybe you're very kind. Maybe you're considerate. Maybe you're you give people the kind of advice that they need to hear, whether they want to hear it or not. That's kind of what my jam is, telling people what they need to hear instead of what they want to hear. But we all have good qualities. Maybe we're a good cook. Maybe we're good at do-it-yourself projects at home. There are so many good qualities that you might have that you need to celebrate those. Congratulate yourself for those good qualities and work within those good qualities to really love yourself. And it's important for people to it's okay to want to be better. Everybody wants to improve a little bit. But you've got to accept yourself for who you are. instead of being critical about who you're not. And that's the first step in self-love, is just accept yourself for who you are. And the second thing that I really emphasize this a lot is taking care of yourself, your body, as much as possible. Because that's the vessel that's going to carry you on the journey through life. And if the vessel has a leak in it, if you're not in good shape physically, you're not going to be able to travel very far. And some people have health challenges. I understand that. But everybody can do a little bit more to take better care of themselves physically, whether it's getting a little more sleep, eating better, getting a little more regular exercise. Sleep, I can't emphasize enough, is really important. And some people only need 3 or 4 hours a night, but some people need 7 or 8 hours. And if you're not getting as much sleep as your body needs, you're not going to be able to function.
That's so true and so wonderful. And also, you coach leaders not to be effect, not to only be effective, but to be more of who they are. So, how does self acceptance actually fuel better leadership and healthier workplaces?
Well, one of the great things about self acceptance is that it allows you to be honest with yourself and honest with other people. Some people would use the word authentic, whatever word you want to use. If a great leader is, people know where that person stands. They know that when they're interacting with a great leader, that leader is coming from a place of genuineness, authenticity, honesty, and they genuinely care about you. Uh,
Yes.
Bad leaders, all they care about is performance. They don't care about
Mm.
you. They just care about the numbers. They
No.
just care about the results. And great leaders, well, they also care about results, but they care about the process along the way to get those results. So they want to make sure, uh, the really great leaders will tell you, you haven't taken your 2 weeks vacation this year. You need to get out of here and take some downtime to be with your family or your friends, or just be by yourself sitting by a lake in the mountains, whatever it is. You need to decompress. You can't be thinking about work all the time. A bad leader is going to push people to work, and threaten them if they want to take their vacation. So I've had the good fortune to work with a lot of great leaders, and one of the things that they all have in common is that they have very high emotional intelligence. They're empathetic. They understand their own emotions. They can regulate themselves. They're highly motivated, and they can communicate a sense of genuine caring. And if people know that you care about them, they don't mind being pushed to do better, to
Yes.
do more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think the great leaders don't perform who they think they should be. They embody who they are. That's why that belief and acceptance, they, because they have that, they show that to others.
Yeah, well, they're not playing a
And
part. They're not playing a part. They're being themselves.
yes, yes. And have you seen companies transform when leaders truly embrace this?
Well, a lot of companies do have uh, leaders that absolutely follow this philosophy, and those
Mm.
companies, uh, in general, I can't speak for all of them. The companies I work with have very low turnover because the leaders are genuinely interested in them as a person. And some people are just really good at their job, and they don't want to progress in the organization. They just want to be able to do the job that they're good at and make sure that they have a secure future there. And it's okay to be happy in the job you have and not want to do anything besides the job that you have. That's
Mm.
okay. And organizations need a lot of people like that. There isn't room at the top of the executive suite for everybody
Mm.
in the organization. We need a
Yes,
lot of people who are just doing their job. And they
that's
good
so true.
great leaders celebrate that.
Yes, yes. It's true, that's true. And in today's world of constant comparison, how can someone stay grounded in their personal version of joy and not someone else highlighted reel or something?
Well, I was just thinking about this morning. The the most liberating day in your life is going to be the day when you quit caring what other people think about you. That gives you
Yes.
freedom. And so many people have trouble getting to that point. I think age and wisdom plays some part in that. Uh, but for me, the I don't care about what other people think about me
Yes.
gene kicked in at about 50 years old, and I'm 76 now. Um, and my wife laughs sometime, and something will happen, and she'll say, "You just really don't care about that, do you?" And I said, "No, I really don't." Uh, it just rolls right
Yes.
off my back. I just don't. But if you can get to the point where you don't care about what other people think
Mm.
about you, and you care deeply about what you think of yourself, that is when you're going to experience true freedom and true joy.
Yes. 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 And I think what you were saying, I also have a friend. Uh, she is always in problem, and she never thinks herself full enough. So one day I was just asking her that, what's your problem? So she was like, I have to make more money. I was like, why do you need more money? You already have enough. So she was like, no, I just need to buy a car that XYZ person already bought and posted in some reel and etc. So they're never happy. So they're just chasing to please other and not themselves. But while she's very educated and very placed in her life, but still she's not happy with herself. And I think that most of the not only young generation but most of the people does that. We need to really get off that. That's so true. And I think
Yes. Yeah,
quotes
that
will really help that.
yeah, that I can't emphasize that enough. Trying to
Mm,
keep up in here in the States, we have a saying, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And you can never keep up with the Joneses. First of all, you don't know what other people's private lives are like. They might have uh, a nice house and an expensive car, and they go on nice vacations, but they might be drowning in debt. You just don't know that because
mm,
they're not going to
mm,
show that to
yes,
you unless you're their banker.
mm,
You're not going to know it. So
yeah,
what you've got to do is do things that bring you joy. And
true.
the little thought experiment that I do with a lot of people is say, think about go back 10 years and think about something expensive that you bought for yourself. Could be maybe it's a piece of jewelry, maybe it's a watch, maybe it's a
Mm,
car, maybe it's whatever, painting, could be a lot of things. Say now, when you think about that thing you bought 10 years ago, how do you feel about it now? Do you even remember what it was? Maybe you don't even have it anymore. So it's like
yes.
a sugar rush. It's like eating candy. It feels good at the time, but
Mm,
after the sugar rush
mm,
wears off. So and now I want you to think back 10 years to a trip that you went on that you had a
yes.
lot of okay? So 10 years later, you're still going to remember where you went, what you ate, the people that you were with, all of the experiences that you had. Experiences last, things don't last. So if somebody's going to spend
Yes.
money on something, I always tell them spend it on experiences. Whatever that,
Yes.
if you want to, some people have a dream that they want to go skydiving. Why they want to go
Mm,
skydiving is a mystery to me, but some people want to go skydiving. Well,
yes.
it maybe it's expensive to do that, but it's an experience and you're never going to forget it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
do that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and you can never be, you're not going to be the richest person. You're not going to have the most stuff. Somebody's always going to have more stuff than you. And the people that have more stuff than you don't care what stuff you have. So it doesn't you're comparing yourself to them, but they're not comparing themselves to you.
Okay. This is so true. And do you believe joy is a choice or a byproduct of something deeper?
Oh, I think joy is a choice.
Mm,
I think you can look for things that give you joy, but the secret is to recognize, to spot it when you see it. And some people
yes.
experience things that could give them joy if they were in the mindset to accept it. I'll give you a simple example.
Yes.
Almost every morning, I take a walk around in a park not far from my house around a lake. And I'll see deer and turkey, and some once in a while, I'll see a bald eagle. And I'm in nature. And the lake is always beautiful. Even in the winter, I've walked around it in the snow before. But
Mm,
I go there with the mindset that I'm going to appreciate everything that I see around. And so when I go, it's a 2.5 mile walk, takes me almost an hour. And when I'm done walking around that lake, I am so at once in one sense relaxed and at peace. And in another sense, I'm ready to face whatever the day has to offer. Sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's not so good stuff, but I'm prepared for whatever comes my way that day. So you have to have a mindset of I'm going to look for joy in the simple things around me, and I'm going to appreciate it when I see it, when I
mm.
feel it.
That's so nice, so true. And this is a very nice and intense conversation that we had with you. And I think this conversation will really help our listeners and everyone uh, to find their joy with themselves. And if my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
The best way to connect with me is to go to my website, which is www.angelovalenti.com. It's real easy. Um, you can send me an email. If you want to buy my book, you can buy my book off my website. Um, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear if you want to set up a coaching session. My calendar link is there. You can set up a coaching session, a free discovery call. First call is free. See if you want to work with me. But that's the best way. I'm also on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Um, I've got quite a few followers on TikTok. It's a mystery to me how that happened, but but it's kind of fun. Uh, I don't take social media as seriously as a lot of people do, so I have fun with it. I post something every day, a little words of wisdom that people can take with them and do with it what they will. But I try to give people a little head start on joy and finding enjoying life the easy way every day.
Yes, yes. And I will make sure to attach all the details and the links below so that my listeners can find them easily and go to you and have a conversation with you to have the joy. And also to my listeners, we have come to the end. And as Dr. Valenti beautifully reminds us that joy isn't about chasing more. It's about clearing away what's weighing us down. Sometimes life isn't complicated. We just need permission to stop making it so. So breathe, simplify, and rediscover your personal, easy way to live with peace and purpose. Until next time, listen to Inner Peace Better Health.